Woo! What's up, people? We live on another Sunset Sunday, another Sunday fall. We got two more of the season. Next weekend, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Then we're gonna take a break. People need a break. I'm gonna do like Bill Maher, even though Bill Maher is gonna be off after next week. I'm gonna be off after Thanksgiving. See, we're gonna be off after Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir.
So how's everything, man?
Can't complain. Can't complain. Just trying to make it through this thing like everyone else, with my sanity and somewhat intact.
Yeah. Make you wonder what's going on with all the stuff that's been said. And sometimes I have to agree with some of the Republic about the media. I mean, the media everybody need to get their stuff together when it comes to when they're talking points on whether concessions mean much, because you hear some people say the concessions don't mean much, it's just a courtesy. Then I see people like River now, well, why are we not getting this transfer of power and because he hasn't conceded? Well, does it mean that much or doesn't it? Okay, right. Have it both ways, people. Everybody keeps making points. It's just a tradition. Traditions are fine, but if they don't have any bearing on whether transfer of power or whatever is going to make a difference, then why don't we quit dwelling on it? The only thing they need to start saying is that the GSP or G something that needs to release the funds for him to get all the daily briefings and stuff. That's what needs to be done.
Yeah. And that should have happened the moment, well, if it hasn't happened now, I'm sure it will happen once Georgia finishes this recount this Friday.
Well, they need to. He won it. I don't know why they tried to do a recount. They already called him that he won it. They've been calling, these people are talking about the Republic. The media don't call. The media's been calling projected winners since I've known. So, people shut the hell up. Okay, really. They've been calling the projected winners for president's elections since I've been around. So I don't know why we get all these people talk all this jack now.
Yeah, I think the political scientist in me says since Georgia was like 0.5 differential, then that does by according to their state law warrant a recount. I mean, we know it's going to, nothing's going to change that. I mean, it's already been called, but that recount is more formality than anything else. It's not like, oh, hey, there's 600 ballots here. How come we didn't count these? That's not going to happen.
I don't know why they getting all getting their panties all up in the uproar over this recount. If they know, they play all these games, and it's all because of why do they let this president's? What I think should be done? What should be done? They should have a department that's nonpartisan on any level. When they elect a projected president, whatever, they should have the power. This is what should happen. The briefing stuff should be automatically done.
And here's the kicker about that. The very thing that he's calling for a recount for, and he has a legal right. But these were majority Republican legislatures that ratified this thing. So you think you're calling out the Democratic Party, but you're calling out your own state legislature.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that's what we're going to be talking about. How there's a lot of things that are said only because if they think it's going to benefit them, you know, what, you know, like even in the online space, network marketing, all that online marketing, you know,
Mhm.
we wonder, you know, when you see a lot of people, and I asked one of the leaders, so-called leaders, you always hear me say so-called, because, you know, I think that the term leadership has been overblown, overused, put out of context. You know, leadership to me, all this stuff is kind of subjective in a lot of ways. You know, we base too much leadership on money, followers, all that kind of stuff. But truly, you know, what we post online, you know, depending on who we're talking to, how does it affect? Does it affect negatively, positively, indifferent? I mean, what is your thoughts on that, Kent? Because, you know, we hear a lot of stuff said, we've heard a lot of stuff before the internet
Mhm.
translated throughout the distribution of people, things, folks, so-called leadership. Now we got more of a wide range of talk with people. What are your thoughts about, you know, things that are posted out online, especially within network marketing online? You know, there's the biggest one I've always hear, and I've asked this
Mhm.
question. Nobody can answer this question. The
Okay.
trust light factor. Everybody's
Mm.
always using the trust light factor as if, you know. And I ask a question: what are you trusting and liking? You
Mhm.
know, there's always this thing: don't hate the message, don't hate the messenger, hate the message. So
Mhm. Mhm.
my question is out into the public, out into Facebook land, out to whatever who's listening on Instagram or whatever. What are you really trusting? Or what are we really consuming? We're consuming the message, aren't we?
Yeah, we're consuming the message, but I believe part of that does it goes in turn with the messenger, and and if you really want to get picky about it, how the message is delivered.
Yeah, but let's look at it from this standpoint. We're really there to hear the message.
Hmm.
We shouldn't tie any emotional tidings in who's bringing the message to anybody. Now, the only way you're gonna really do that, let's be real about this.
Yeah.
If you agree with it,
Hmm.
see, what this the biggest problem with all this stuff is people saying, "Well, I trust him because I relate," and it's relatability, it's rapport. That's where you trust. It has nothing to do from the beginning whether you trust this person or not, because you got no reason to mistrust them. It all goes back to whether you relate or have rapport with that person. I mean, I don't know. Do you? That's just my thought process. I mean, anything that when it comes to being online, because we don't know each other. A lot of these people we've never met. We got no
Right.
reason to dislike or hate them unless
Right.
we don't relate to that message. We're like, I ain't agreeing with that. And sometimes it depends on how that message is delivered. Just like let's go back to 2015, people. Okay, one of the reasons why there's been such a disdain for lame duck Trump, President Trump, is because this is where people forget when he came down the escalator in June, was it June 5th of 2015? He
Hmm.
made a lot of disparaging talking points on who was this and who was that. That right there to certain groups of people is going to make certain groups of people dislike him. You know, dislike his message. And he kept that talking point up. So in turn, even though we may not have met him or whatever, there been an emotional reaction, okay, to that person based off of those talking points. Now you got a certain group of people that loved it because 70 million of those some bitches voted for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where my point, what I'm trying to make is that all this messaging, all this posting, message, whatever, content, video, is all based off whether you relate to that person. It ain't got nothing to do with whether you trust them or not. It's the message that you trust, because you don't really, unless you personally got a relationship rapport, met them. We already had that relationship because beforehand. That's why this is my point. What I'm trying to say is that unless you've met them people physically and then got another type of rapport, the online thing is based off of the content that you hear and the message that you hear, and it's going to be based off the emotional reaction of the message that's going on. That's where you are going to think, okay, do I relate? Do I agree? Do I whatever? Okay. Some people don't want to think that deep because, as we know, in this country and around the world for a long time, people don't want to think. And I've heard people say, well, I don't want to think. Well, we know we don't want to think. We see that in your reaction to certain things. People don't want to think. They don't want to think. And we're taught not to think critically because of our educational system. So it's all about all that kind of stuff. It's all about whether you relate, have that rapport, attracted, when we talk about attraction marketing, all that kind of stuff. Are you attracted to that? Are you relatable to that? It's going to be how you grab onto that person because it's coming from that. Or you're going to have, and you may have sometimes where they may say something, but if you have an overall type of thing, relatability, then you're not going to have this thing. They may say some things you may not agree with, but the trust thing is all subjective also. That's why I say, what are you trusting when you hear something from people? You trusting the message or the person? Unless you got that relationship with that person and met them, what do you trusting or mistrusting? Is it the message? I believe it's the message first, because you got no emotional tie to anybody until you start saying, oh, well, yeah, I agree with that. And even though you can say, well, I relate to the message, but sometimes it just depends on how the message delivered, who it's delivered to, and how it's delivered to, whether you're going to develop that trust. It's not, and it's all about the message. Sometimes I think there's a lot of wording that needs to be changed. We keep using it. We want to be, it sounds cool. Everybody wants to be sexy with their talking points. It's all like, you hear it. Hey, you hear it online and some of me. Well, it ain't sexy enough. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you do.
Who really gives a shit about whether it's sexy? I don't know why everybody get caught up in the sexy thing. I never got caught up in that. I never thought that was a viable thing. But Americans gotta be entertained about every damn thing.
Everything.
Every damn thing. Ain't just a black or Latino thing. It's everybody. Everybody in the U.S. gotta be entertained. We got so much short-sighted attention spans. Our attention span is not even a second. It's a middle second. Okay. If you ain't entertaining some people about certain things, if you ain't doing that, they tune you off. And that's a cultural, that's a mindset, that's a brainwash thing also. Okay. There's good brainwashing, there's bad brainwashing. I've been reading this book on called the Creature from Jaco Island. And before I knew about this book, I knew my dad used to go play golf. I think this is in North Carolina, Jaco Island, North Carolina. Okay. And I didn't connect that stuff until I heard about this book. I said, well, my dad used to go play golf down there. In this book, they talk about, now this was not put out. It was kept secret because, was it the 1/5 or something of part of 1/5 of the world's wealth was concentrated in the US. The other part of it was in Europe. Okay, through the Rothschilds and Warburgs. They were Jewish Germans. The other part was the Rockefellers, and I can't think of the other ones, but part of the Rockefellers. Okay, they were part of the other wealth thing, and it was 6 of them. One died right after that, so they had this secret meeting on how they're gonna control the world's wealth, basically. Europe, America.
Mhm.
The let's see, the meeting was in 1910, but the solidification of this law, financial law, which we call the Federal Reserve, didn't happen until 2013. Okay, I mean 1913. Okay, it took 3 years.
Mhm.
Okay, it's a deep book, it's a thick book. In fact, I guess I'm reading the 5th edition of it. So there's been 5 editions of this book that's been revamped because of what people are learning over 100 years of what's happening here financially.
Now say the title of the book again, if you don't mind.
It's called The Creature from Jaco Island.
Okay.
I got it. Get on Amazon. Get on Amazon. And it's interesting what you read stuff. Like I said, I've read. This is a book that I always reference. Always talk about The Conspiracy of the Rich
Mhm.
by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about the 8 new rules of money, and he dwells a little bit on that book, talking about what's going on and stuff, and information. It's like what we do. We are information connoisseurs. We serve information to our base or public or whatever, or advertising or audience, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
That's what we do. That's basically, as a marketer, that's what you do. You advertise information, you market information to a group of people. Ain't no different than what 45 did with his base. Okay. You could learn a lot of marketing strategies based off of that. And this is where I had the problem when you talk about Democrat and Republican, they're based on, well, they say they're based on helping the common people, the Democrats.
Mhm.
Well, what do you base the common people on? I mean, everybody got to make a living. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. And the problem, I think, with a lot of it, that one side wants to tell you just enough to keep you dependent. The other side just don't give a shit. Really.
Well,
I mean, really, if you really base it down to bare facts, they just don't give a shit about whether
well,
you try to. All they care about is don't tell them but they can't do something. If you figure
yeah,
it out and able to do it.
yeah. Well, what's that expression? The left wing and the right wing are all part of the same bird.
Same bird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the left wing and the right wing are all part of the same bird. That's an
Mhm.
old Indian proverb, So there really is no difference. Just everybody, they use, once the right talks about this and the left talks about that. It's just that now with social media, see, the big thing about social media in this whole 4 year of the Trump era has woke everybody up. America needed to be woke up. America was asleep, basically. One part of it was we're paying a price for having Barack Obama in the White House for 8 years. That's what one thing. That's what all. And they just had, in fact, I think part of Barack's book that he has come out, his memoir. There was another poster talking about America's paying a price for that set up. President Obama's presidency set up the election of Trump in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Basically, they could not see a woman. They wanted a white male in the helm of the White House in 2016. They didn't want a woman. I think they blew up they demonized Hillary Trump to a point where I don't know, either she made me and my mother was talking about this. I said, well, damn, come on. You were in the White House 8 years with your husband. My mother thought that they kind of got arrogant because they didn't campaign in certain areas they thought they automatically had. Well, that's either, yeah, either arrogant or incompetent. Your campaign manager
Mhm.
needed to be real forceful and tell her, if you want to win this damn thing, you better go campaign there and quit playing them games. Don't think that you got this in the bag,
I done
because
got
they
locked up
show.
because yeah, and even and who I was talking to someone about this, and this was was a white lady. It was like 3 weeks after the 3 weeks after Trump got elected.
Mhm.
She said now I can only speak for me, but I I did not vote for Hillary because I saw a lot of things in 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 in, in me that were that were that were like Hillary, and some things I could not stand. And she said, this is the reason, and again, it's just my reasoning, but this is the reason why I think a lot of us white women did not vote for her. We did not. We could not anyone but her, basically.
Why? Because they saw themselves in her.
Yeah, yeah.
So they didn't like what they saw in her because it was a reflection of themselves.
Apparently.
So what is that saying? I mean, what is what we're gonna get deep into that? What is
Yeah.
it, the reflection in themselves that they saw in Hillary Clinton that they didn't like? See, I can get deeper in that. What is that saying? They what? What they didn't like that they saw in themselves through Hillary?
The, well, that yeah,
And I can hear my mom, she's saying because she didn't divorce her husband. What they got to do with them? That's a piss poor excuse. I can't.
but it's probably one of the reasons
Because
too.
she didn't divorce her husband because he was fooling around. It got shit to do with you. That's a arrogant. They ain't got shit to do with you. That's a lot of That's a fucked up. Well, you know what? That arrogance has cost them a lot of shit. Okay, and it's cost probably some lives because of this COVID. And that's arrogance in themselves. You didn't vote for somebody else because they did what you did. Well, y'all both. Then you say y'all both fucked up. I mean, that's really what you're saying. White women
Mhm.
didn't vote for Hillary Clinton because they didn't like what you were saying. They didn't like what they saw in her because it reflected on their dumb ass.
On themselves. Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, what does that say about white women in America? A lot of them.
Well, and it pretty much reverberated this election because
Yeah.
55% of white women
And
voted for Trump.
I don't want nobody coming back on me, come out saying, I'm talking about all white women. I'm saying white women. There's a specific
Right.
group of white women that still voted for Trump this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because, see, that means because maybe your boyfriend, your husband, or fiance, or whatever the fuck it is, you voted for because you had to vote because you with that motherfucker. No, I see. Yeah, you can't think for you just a Barbie doll. I said, I wouldn't date no woman, white, black, Asian, whatever, that's like that. If you're that much of a controlled pie back, um, what do they call that? Stepford wife, something. I don't. You stay away from me. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You know, you heard all these other excuses, Benghazi and all that. Come down to it, y'all just fucked up. Really. Is that really what it is? That's what she's saying. They use all the other outside excuses, saying Benghazi. They threw Benghazi. They used the Benghazi step to. Y'all really just fucked up. Really.
Oh
That's
yeah.
probably what it was.
Yeah, those emails. I'm glad I don't have to hear about. Oh, but her emails though. No.
Yeah, or the email thing. No, y'all just fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call it. Let's just call a spade a spade. That's what it is. Y'all just fucked up. You think she's that fucked up? And you think what? Why she didn't leave it? What she did with her husband has no reflection what you do with your husband. You don't even know if it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You depend that much on some man or white male for your livelihood over that shit. Well, that's your problem. But you're that fucked up that you got to do that. Yeah, he really. That's crazy. So,
You should have seen the look on my face. Like,
hey, well, you listen to some of
what
these
made you think?
ones.
What? You really
You
did
listen
that?
to some of these ones that I talk to online, and they're reasoning on what they thought or why they voted for 45 again. I said,
Mhm.
you a slave. You a slave to the pack that he ain't doing nothing. And I said this to everybody, even white, black, whatever. If you do not fit all these elections, if you don't fit in that 1% category and financially, why are you voting for that? You're voting against your economic interests.
Mhm.
And even if you did, but it's based off of somebody else taking care of you, I mean, I can see you voting for it because of for your economic interest. But if you're not in that and you still doing it, you got to be a special kind of stupid. Really. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's like now, and we're going with this whole talk was about posting, and how you post is a reflection of how critical you think too. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of people online are just followers. You could tell, you could tell so much. They repeat all the talking points. They don't have, they're not, they're scared to uh, object or criticize the leaders because they say something. They think they're gods. They float on water. They said the Bible only said there was only one person that did that. Okay, all that kind of stuff. To me, as a business owner or business or anything, you need to think critically. Everything that what somebody says is not written in stone. They're not God. They're not nobody. They're nothing. I say that to me. You don't have to agree with everything I say. I'm not asking you to.
Mhm.
If it's always based on everybody have to agree on that, but you need to bring the point in why you're saying this and why, and the points. And what I've always said, how do you guys have such a short memory when day one 45 came down that escalator calling out everybody that wasn't white?
Pretty much.
That's what he
Pretty much.
did. And just like I mean, you go back and see why would you call out just because, and this is why, and then probably the Cubans in Florida had the same idea. They want to say Fidel Castro. Half of them probably didn't even see Fidel Castro. They're talking about, well, we don't want Biden turning in America into a Fidel Havana, Cuba type state. Where did you see any of that shit? When they talked about they was going to block the Mexicans, so all the other Latino groups probably said, well, they're talking about Mexicans. They ain't talking about us. Bullshit. They talking about all y'all. Everybody. Okay? And like I told a friend of mine, if you short brown and speak Spanish, you get caught in the wrong place, they're going to take your ass too. If ICE come around, you get caught, they're going to take your butt and you're going to be selling oranges on the 405. Okay? Or down there by TJ. I'm just being real. Half of them can't tell the difference. Just like I have a friend who's Asian. Now, with this, Trump was calling the flu, this thing called the Chinese flu or whatever.
Yeah.
So what did that do? They put a whole target on the Asian community. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I said, how are you going to vote for somebody that put a target on you as an Asian American or Asian female? Why would you vote for somebody like that? You got a whole target on you just because his disparity and how he feels and how he used rhetoric saying that shit, she ain't white.
I know, but she's got a son who's half white.
Hey, he's still got the Eurasian still, but they know he's something else. He ain't white. Okay, I don't give a shit what he looked like, what he think he looked like. And we know she was from Hong Kong. And they're having a lot of problems over there. That's my mom making a comment. So they know. How do you, I mean, there are some things that are supposed to be blatantly common sense, but we know how that fares in our society and around the world. Nada. Okay.
Right.
There's no, so that talking point, common sense, what's that? Okay. What's that? So now we're dealing with the same baby man because he lost. And what's so bad, he lost by the same margin that he beat Hillary Clinton in. How is that for, a payback?
Karma something else.
What's that song? The Big Payback? Hey, it wasn't that James Brown or somebody?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
The Big Payback. Well, yeah. He did. Whoa, he did. That's a big payback.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy how people think and what they don't want to acknowledge. And they don't want to talk about, well, they talked about the Dems when they went, oh, here it is. It's in Black Enterprises. I did, let me see something. Let me go see if I can share this. So on my Facebook page, let me see something. It might not let me in. It's on my Facebook page. Okay. This is discussed. He feels that the racist rhetoric that current and outgoing President Trump has been spewing before and since was elected in 2016 was due to Obama occupying the heights of office in the land in a book that is being released this month. That's right. He does have a book coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
he's doing that.
So this is what this
60 Minutes. He's got an interview on 60 Minutes too.
One tonight?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think my mom's watching now. Because I just heard him. Right here is talking about more than anyone else, I wrote my book for young people as an invitation to once again remake the world and to bring about through hard work, determination, and big dose of imagination in America that finally aligns with all that is best. Well, yeah, I've always said, let me go. I've always said, okay, what's going on here? I've always said, oh, come on. I've always said that his presidency was the cause of reflection, but there are people who said that they voted. This is what I don't get. This is where the hypocrisy or the craziness of how do you go? And some white folks said that. How do you go voting for Obama in 2008, 2012, and then turn around 2016 and vote for Trump? And you say you voted for Obama. There's no congruency. That's a total change. What kind of change were you looking for? That you didn't, I don't get that. You got that change, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
My question to that stuff is how do you do that? And just like I said, when we post stuff online, sometimes I think no matter what we want to say, it's like I said, there's a lot. Hey, we know there's a lot of people, followers. I see people say, well, you got to be a great follower. There's another one I hear. You got to be a great follower before you can be a leader. But how long are you going to be a follower? There's sometimes if you want to make your business grow, you, especially in network marketing, you got to become a leader. You got to step up to the plate. You can't, always be behind a thing following or jumping on somebody else's bandwagon. You got to step out and be a leader if you want anything different. Because if you notice, all your big MLSP, L1, L2, L3, A4, 5, they still be in the leadership. Network marketing. Let's use Amway. Direct, Emerald, Diamond, Double Diamond, Triple Diamond, Crown Ambassador. They had to step into leadership. So how long, these are the questions. How long are you going to be a follower? You got to put a plan in to not to be always a follower. Yeah, you follow other people, but you still, as a follower, you got to step into leadership. We like to repeat all this stuff all the time, but come on, folks. You got to step into leadership before you, if you're going to make it, if you want to make it into those big, if you just want to make a few dollars or whatever here, then yeah, you stay back by where you're at. Because this whole network marketing, this whole anything that you want success in requires you to step into some sort of leadership role, or you ain't gonna get that big thing. If that's not what you want, that's fine. But I don't know about anybody else, but my whole thing is I want to grow some stuff, and I'm looking for people to step into a leadership role. You got to leadership. When you have a front line of executive, top executive, they're all part of a leadership role. That's how you build your network marketing thing, is because you got leadership. You don't have people that just want to be, oh well, okay, did it. That don't work. That kind of that business don't work that way. And that's not just network marketing, it's all businesses. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, because at some point, uh, I would think you would the person who is swallowing, you get tired of like, I know there's another way to go. I know there's another way to go about this, or I know it's my time. I know it's my time to to step up and show what I can do. You know, so when it comes to that point in time where, yeah, you might fall on your face, but you still have to go out and show that you can be a leader.
Yeah, you
And the
got
only way
to
you can do that is to go ahead and do it.
you got to cut away from the apron strings. Um, we don't know when that's going to happen, but it's got to happen if, and sometimes the person that you're following has to bring it to a point to you and say, when you going to start stepping up? You got the potential to do it. When you going to start stepping up? Because you can't just run on the coattails of this person. That's why here always when we were going to all these functions and all these people talking about, well, follow the upline, follow success. Well, that's fine, but when you gonna take what from that success and implement it into yourself to do something?
Mhm.
There's gonna come a time, because hey, they human just like anything else. What are you learning? Where you gonna have? Because hey, all the top leaders that were in Amway are dying off.
Yes.
Okay, the biggest one that was in Amway died off a couple of years ago. Dexter Yeager, he's no longer here. I
Mhm.
don't know if his sons are going to be able to take the rings like they did what his dad did, because
Right.
they didn't have to go through some things, because they built it on the accolades of their father, which is nothing wrong with that. But
Right.
what did they learn that maybe be able to change a lot of different things to another direction and bring on some of the younger people that are coming in, because they're not going to do what he did. Let's just cut the shit
No.
now. What I'm
No.
thinking about talking about next week is there's been an influx of businesses closing. Did you see GNC is closing?
Say again.
GNC, they're
Oh,
closing
really?
all their stores.
That I didn't know.
It's
I didn't
posted
know
on
that.
there. Hey, Macy's, another one. They're with the COVID
Mhm.
happening, and we've been saying this, we're going into holiday season, people. Most people have been shopping online because they don't want to get caught up there. With all these spikes now, you got
Right.
curbside service. They're ordering stuff online, and they're picking it up at the curbside, or they're just all ordering total online. So what they're seeing as GNC, total going online. Limited did it about 4 or 5 years ago. Macy's is doing the same thing because they're paying all this office space, rent, whatever, it's costing them money, and they're not having people come in there. Well, for why? They need more of their traffic, more of their engagement, more of their going online. And then I hear all these people talking about that. I said, look, you either gonna get with what's going on with what's trending another way, or you don't. They're not gonna give a shit whether you feel like you gotta touch, feel, and everything. When you're just one out of 300,000 of their customers that are going online, they're gonna tell you either go online or you just don't get it. They don't give a fuck about you, and that's just truth. You just one out 300,000 of their customers are made the transition to online versus coming in the store. They got things now that you can virtually size your foot up with something. They got this one thing called for shirts. They got a virtually takes measurements online.
Okay.
People got to get out of that shit. The way business is trending now, hey, people are close. They're not bringing in the footwork. Is all going online. And I have a friend that's talking about, well, I don't know about buying. I got to touch my shoes and all this stuff if I'm gonna buy. Well, look, if they ain't trending that way, you shit out of luck. They don't give a shit what you want.
Right.
You just one out of many of the people that customers that are going that way. Just like I said about banking. Back in '99, I said there's gonna be a time where you're not gonna be able to go to a bank or need to. Because I could take a check now with my phone, cash it, and go straight into my account. So what do I need to go in the bank for? Banks money's gonna be all digital pretty soon, more likely. I thought it might have been that way sooner. It's almost taken 30 years. That's another thing that took the traditional critical mass of 25, 30 some years. But it's trending that way. The banking industry is going to change. More and more stuff is online banking, cryptocurrency, card, phone type stuff. I don't know what are you going to say? You either get with the program or you get left behind.
And well, a lot of people are, for better or for worse, a lot of people are going to be left behind.
Well, sometimes I think that change is hard, and sometimes people just choose to get left behind. But we got a responsibility to find out. There's more people. Look, black and brown people walking around with these things all the time.
Yes, sir.
They're connected to the internet. They can get connected to any way they want to. Don't tell me that they're not. Even the ones that say they broke, these kids got walking around with smartphones. And I just remember when we had Mark Harbor on about a month ago. He's talking about, well, I think I'm gonna go back and get me a flip phone. Why?
Yeah.
Do they even make them like that anymore? Very limited.
But it's not nothing like it was back in the day. But
it's probably a smartphone that's phone capabilities that flips.
Yep.
Okay, I understand that. So there's no need trying to go backwards, folks, because everything is moving forward. And that's what we need to be. You always need to be vigilant in that aspect of what's going on. And that's what we try to get people to understand about how trends, well, I don't like using the word trends, or how things are moving forward from, even 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We didn't have social media. Social media has changed from 2050 to now. It's different. Okay, we didn't have all this streaming like back then. Okay, we got now. I'm sitting here. Kent's at his house. I'm at my house. Haven't kept doing our thing business wise. Um, and that's the way it should be. And like I always said, I think what's happened is that um, more and more what's trended and what's kept things going was the internet. You know, you talk about they put in 600 something thousand jobs this month or beginning of the month when they took that thing. But that's because most of them jobs, they're going to have to count them jobs that they're working from home because a lot of people ain't going to no office. They don't want to make that distinction. That's what happened. But I'm telling y'all, that's what's going on. I don't care if they don't want to make that distinction. The job market has moved from the office to the home, and that's where business is still being done. Commerce is still being transferred through digital means. But, hey, think about it. If it weren't for the internet, we probably would be in a depression, people. Really. Think about it. There is still commerce doing. It's just all digital, folks. And it's been proven that now with this COVID that happened, it's more efficient to do digital, do stuff that way. If businesses are closing up, changing their business models to work from home or to online because they're not getting the foot traffic. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? It's almost. Damn, we've been on here almost an hour. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, well, as you and I stated before, and we've said on the show before, genie's not going back in the bottle.
No,
it's just not. It's just
the gin is not going back in the bottle, people.
Yeah, it's here to stay. It's better that you get yourself acclimated to the way businesses are trending. Um, as you and I stated before, as you pointed to, Nationwide Insurance here in Columbus is saving over $1 million a month because they don't have to pay out those funds for office space, for utilities, for vending machines, or whatever. They're saving that income to put it in the other things. And from a business standpoint, that just makes sense.
Yeah, and who's to say that if you're network marketing or any of them groups, those big ass meeting weekend event function things may not be that applicable anymore because they take too much time when you can do this shit at home, sit here, and you don't need to be there 3 or 4. Some of them things just got too damn long. Mm-hmm. Okay, and now ain't nobody want to be packed up in no damn arena, the hotel meeting with a bunch of people they don't know, especially with what's going on. They talk about vaccine from Pfizer coming out for probably essential workers sometime next month or first of the year. Yeah. But that don't mean anything's going to go back to pre-COVID like last year at this time. It's not going to happen. We probably won't go back to, if any remnants of that, we probably won't see that until almost the end of next year, going into 2022.
I don't think you're too far off the mark on that either.
Because it's not going to make people ain't going to want to do that. I don't care. I got in a discussion with a friend of mine, just arguing about the government trying to take their freedom, and I always hear this from white folks, but she's black.
Okay.
And I say that they're trying to tell you this thing is not about taking your freedoms. I mean, there were some things I said, I'm not with, like my mom, all these women are making these masks fashionable. And I said, we need to be careful about that. Because there's gonna be somebody in the left wing or the right wing is gonna say, there's money being made. So why don't we hold off doing this stuff because there's money being made with all this mask and the chain that you can wear on it. The fashion industry. I don't want the mask to be another fashion trend and then delay us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not. That's not what
I got
I'm looking to do.
I got
We got to be cognitive of that also.
Mhm.
But you're talking about, they need to make. Well, there's still some skepticism on my part about how this thing was formed. I do not believe that it came through nature. I don't believe it, just because of what's been happening with this. Usually nature is very consistent on how it affects certain people. This thing has not been that way.
No, not
People
at
want to
all.
base it off of their other people's underlining things, but there are people who didn't even have underlining ailments that are dying from this.
Right.
So that consistency with that talking point is irrelevant now. And that's what makes me think, there's something else going on with that, which I think is going to come out in the wash soon that they don't want to admit to. And we need, the public needs to know, as like I said, public needs to know. That's what the saving grace of social media and the internet is. You're gonna always get some people start some shit saying, well, this is just some controversy on that and that. You had that in news before internet, TV, radio, print. There ain't no different, folks. Let's quit trying to blame all these inanimate objects for the controversy of what's going on in our society. Y'all were doing this shit before we had all this visual technology. Really, ain't nothing changed. The toys have, but the bullshit that's been spouted out is all the damn same. With that note, man, I say we're about there at 8 o'clock. So I want to keep this real short because I'm hungry and need to eat.
All right. I'm not gonna keep a hungry man from
And I made some black beans and rice, some chops we got from Omaha Steaks. You ever had them Omaha steak things?
And I'm gonna promise myself because I'm gonna order me some of those.
Okay.
Every time I hear about somebody, there have been no complaints. Everybody like, man, yeah, you need to get yourself some. So.
I bought me some Cavassier a week ago.
Well, I bought some Cavassier yesterday. So.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah. Yeah. And I always do this time of year. I bought some Evan Williams eggnog as well.
Oh, you bought some of that?
Oh yeah.
Nah. Didn't we turn you on to that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Well, probably in another week or so, we're going into Coquito time. Coquito time. Everybody, Coquito is a drink. It's a Puerto Rican drink equivalent to eggnog. There's another one that the Cubans make. It's called crema de villa. Similar.
I've had that, haven't I?
What, crema de villa?
Yeah.
I've never made the crema de villa. I've always made the Puerto Rican coquito.
Okay. Yeah. I know I had the coquito. I
mean, they're similar, probably prepped differently.
Okay, so, I got you.
I'll be making that again. I've been doing that for a while. At least 4 or 5 years. I made someone, Eddie, my friend Eddie and them were here, Eddie and Gail. So might be giving some away for gifts, I guess. I don't know. Haven't decided. I got some smaller bottles I need to use up, get out of here. So maybe I just wrap them up, give them out Christmas gifts.
Welcome to the shoot. Boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody going to, I got drunk because Greg gave me this drink on Copita. I couldn't get out of bed. That ain't my fault. I
Man, that
didn't
first,
drink the whole thing in one night.
yeah, that first time I had it, whoa, I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think because I had 4 or 5 different alcohols in that bad boy then.
You had
I
something.
think I had cognac, whiskey, rum.
Because I said I'm gonna need to sit down for a minute before I get in the car.
I think that's what I put in there. I might do that again. Yeah, that's what I put in there. So, but you know, as we getting into that day, it's gonna be a different type of holiday since with all this stuff going on.
I thought about going up to the Bean, but I know I was like, well, different city. You know, most of my relatives are older. You know, I'm gonna, and you know, just because when our family gets together, I mean, it's great. It ain't no less than 15, 20 people. So,
Yeah, I understand.
so
Yeah,
it's like, yeah,
I had been going over to
long.
I've been going to Rudy's for the last few years, but we're not doing that this year.
Right.
Need to call him, find out what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that being said, like I said, always we at that 8 o'clock hour time, and people look, you know, all we just trying to do is help you realize what's going on, what you can do, what you don't have to do because somebody said you got to do, because technology is going to let you leverage time and money. That's all we're trying to say. And don't let the job, no matter where you're working from, discourage you, stress you out. Because like I said, from Les Brown, he said the heart attack rate goes up on Sunday night to Monday morning. And people, if you drop dead, they'll have your job in the paper before your obituary's here.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to do that. And there's a lot of people been dropping.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Do we have anybody famous drop this week? No.
This week? No.
I haven't heard none. But it's been a trend.
Yeah, it's been a trend, but nothing this week.
Not this week. I shouldn't say that because as soon as I get off here, somebody gonna say so and so.
Oh yeah.
But all right, people, we like I said, we got 2 more Sundays. We got next Sunday and the Sunday after Thanksgiving. We're taking a break till I think about the 10th of January. We're gonna come back. I think that's what I scheduled it as. 10th of January with take some time, be refreshed. That's some all this stuff going. I'm gonna be online once in a while, but we're not gonna do this type of this format for you know all after Thanksgiving. We're gonna take the whole basic month of December off. Give people time to do what they need to do. Because people getting prepped for that now. Let me see who's this on. Who is this? Entourage. Encourage more people. Somebody, they're talking about encourage more people to like your truth. Another page of mine. That's Facebook saying that.
Oh, wait. Yeah, they always got some suggestions.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Bless you.
It's crazy, people. So I hope you have got value for what we're saying. We're starting a new era stuff. Maybe we're gonna have some normalcy, somewhat, especially an outgoing regime. We need to get rid of.
Yeah.
Hope people got value. People, take care. Have a great rest of your start of the new week. The weeks have been going. You know, we got a week before Thanksgiving, folks.
Yeah.
My friend in Switzerland got a birthday coming up.
What you get her?
I ain't get a shit.
Oh.
I just said she got a birthday coming up. I'm a South Sanders.
So you just gave her some advice.
No. I ain't getting nothing. She ain't watching this no way, so it don't make no difference. I might send her something. Her birthday's on the 18th.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you know, it's kind of hard to say. You know, I ain't never sent nothing international like that.
No, yeah, don't even get me to lying.
Yeah, I don't need it. It's better to send something digital.
Yeah.
You know, something physical like that shit. I probably would have to start the beginning of the month.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Especially with these restrictions now. My God.
Yeah. So, you know, it is what it is, people. All right. It's 5 after. People, my name is Greg Smith. This is Kent Robertson. People, take care.
Yeah, stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe, because the trends are
Please
going up
wear
with this
your,
damn
wear
virus.
your mask. Please.
Get the mask. Don't.
Please.
It's just not a muy macho thing. Wear the mask. It protects you. It protects everybody else around you. All right. Peace.
You don't have to wear it while you're driving though. I'm still not getting.
Yeah, I'm not with that either. I see people wearing it while they're driving.
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
I'm not getting that either. You know what it is? Because somebody said airborne and they didn't make the distinction what airborne meant. You know, my whole thing about airborne was in the atmosphere. I said, if that's the case, we're all screwed in.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that's why I think so. People paranoid in that
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. All right, people, take care. Peace. We're out.